we go.
Yep. Okay, so I have a story that I heard recently, and it's in Scotland. There's this bridge. I think it's called Overtorn Bridge or Overturn Bridge or something like that. But basically, since the 1950s, over 600 dogs have jumped off it, and they died, or rather, this is the crazy part. They jump off, and if they don't die, they go back up and jump off again.
They keep jumping.
I guess, sometimes they get injured and don't, but there's times where dogs have jumped, don't die, and then go back up and jump again.
Is it like an amusement park for dogs?
No, it's just a bridge. It's just a crossing bridge.
Yeah, but they treat it like it's a fun ride, or is it like Lemmings where they just keep jumping?
They treat it. I don't really know, but I think it's just some rather some spirit or like some thing that the bridge has, that like a dog whistle or something, or like a noise when you walk on it or something.
Is that what the theory is? That there's a sound?
I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, the theory is that it's possessed and it makes dogs jump off.
Is there a backstory to the possession of this ghost bridge?
No, just like it started, like people would walk their dogs, and then the dog would just run and jump off.
I've never heard that. So, I mean, I'm laughing just because it's absurd, but that's obviously really sad if true.
Like
Um,
imagine just walking your dog over that bridge and then it just suddenly jumps off.
it just jumps. I'm sure everybody keeps their dogs on a leash or they avoid that bridge. But that's that. Have you ever heard of the story of the lemmings?
No.
Okay, so lemmings are tiny little rodent creatures that live somewhere in the north. I forget exactly where. And there was an old documentary from the 50s where they supposedly went to this area. I think either Canada or maybe it was Iceland. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But they go in and they see that there's these little rodent creatures that all jump off of a cliff,
Hmm.
right? And then they follow each other jumping off this cliff. Like they live their entire lives, and then at the end of their lives, they all jump to their death at this gigantic cliff. And so there's this footage of all of these rodents jumping one after another, and nobody knew why, right? And there was even computer games. I remember one of the first computer games that I ever played was this game where like these lemmings, you control these lemmings and you have to guide them off of a cliff. Really morbid game. But it turns out that they actually, one of them actually accidentally slipped off, and maybe a couple accidentally slipped off, and then the people doing the documentary thought, oh, this is great footage, great idea. And so they started tossing these lemmings off of the cliff and recording it and saying that it was them voluntarily jumping off the cliff. Yeah, but it was just all for the meme of it. And yeah, the lemmings actually don't do that
Okay,
naturally.
so like you're saying that did the game come out before the documentary?
No, the documentary came out in the 50s and the game came out, I want to say, late 80s,
How
maybe
big are
early
these
90s.
things?
They're the size of a gopher, I want to say. Do you know what a gopher is?
No.
They're you know, when you go and you play whack-a-mole at, you know the game whack-a-mole where you
Hmm.
hit, yeah, you
Yeah.
hit the
And it keeps
the
juking
gophers
you.
that pop up, yeah, the moles,
Oh,
and
okay.
they juke, right? Those about that size is what I'm guessing. So pretty large rodents, maybe the size of a gopher, perhaps smaller.
What about this size?
Yeah, maybe the size of a mike or larger.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't really know, but you
Uh,
know it's in between like that kind of size.
yeah. Really morbid game where they had kids playing, these lemmings jumping off a cliff.
Like, was it like 8-bit and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe 16. But It was those early games.
That's the entire game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Making lemmings um kill themselves.
Yeah,
Part 1.
yeah. Suicide Lemmings.
Was
Uh,
that what it's actually called?
no, it was not called that.
I was about
But
to say, like, I don't think that would be allowed for kids to get if it was called Suicide Lemmings.
it was definitely made for younger kids to play. But there was a lot of games that you know were questionable at that time. A lot of weird games that probably shouldn't have been played by kids, and you had to put in a special code. So you would get this MS DOS prompt, and it would just be a black screen with text, and then you had to answer questions that only adults knew, and so we would have to ask our parents or look up the answers in an encyclopedia, and then find the answers to these five questions that you had to answer, and we would find ways to get around it, or somebody would learn the answers and tell all their friends.
That's funny.
And so yeah, there were a lot of games like that, early video games that were supposed to be for adults, but kids were the ones playing it because they figured out the key.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of video games, there's this game that takes over a year to complete, and there's not any way you can do any tricks to like make it go faster or finish it faster. You only It only finishes after 400 days, I think. And the game is basically this, like, you're under command of like this giant king, but then he falls asleep in his chair, and like now you basically walk around the kingdom looking for stuff to do and things like that. Well, the time passes. He sleeps for 400 days, then he wakes up, and then you win.
So the name of the game is find something to do until the king wakes up.
I forget what it's called, but it's like I forget what it's called, but it's not that. I know that.
Is that the premise of the game though? You're just looking around the kingdom.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
It sounds like it could just be.
And the time even passes while you're not playing.
Oh, okay. So you could just turn it on and
Never
not play,
play.
never play, and beat the game.
Hmm.
Oh wow, that's. I wonder how they decided to pitch that in the boardroom. Like I imagine a bunch of video game board directors sitting around a table saying, "All right, hear me out. There's a king and he's sleeping. He's really lazy, and you just got to make sure that you don't wake him up for 400 days. Can you wake up the king? Is there a way to lose the game?
I mean, a way to lose the game is just delete the game and not
And but you
finish it.
still win.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I bet you there's some series on YouTube. Every single day they play it, and then after 400, and then they play for like a year, and then they beat it, and then like they just go all crazy. Ow, ow.
There's probably a Twitch stream somewhere of only that game, and the guy just plays straight through for 400 days. He hasn't slept. He's like, the king's sleeping, so I can't.
You just in the back an entire freezer just of Red Bull and 5 hour energy.
Yeah, yeah, 5 hour energy, prime energy, whatever it is. Not plugging anything here, but he's just hanging out, Twitch stream, doing, he's like, can't sleep, strung out. Speaking
He
of people
finishes
that
the
are strung out,
finishes the game. He instantly goes to sleep.
people get so addicted to games that they don't sleep. I never understood that. Like so addicted to leveling up in games, they don't sleep, and they actually get medical conditions. Some of them get heart palpitations and actually die. It's was an epidemic in Korea where it was just people would get addicted to
So,
whatever game it was, and they would end up passing away because of lack of sleep. Really
well,
crazy. Yeah.
at least they had a good way to die. Video games.
Video games? I don't know. It seems, oh man, I don't know if that's like an honorable way, like it was back in the
It's
day.
more
If
like an
you,
embarrassing way.
yeah, yeah, poor guys, poor people, poor women.
Yeah. But you know how you're talking about how a guy streams nonstop without like stopping.
Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't happen, but this guy, but it like half happened, but he went to sleep and stuff. So he played. So you know the game Geometry Dash?
I've never seen that. No.
Dang. Okay. So it's basically a game. It's 2D, and there's this little block character, and you have to go through like obstacles. You press
Yeah.
the keys, and like jumps, and then and then like flies, and stuff like that. But this guy, he played the hardest level on it, and it took him 10,000 attempts, like 10,000 attempts or something, like over 11,000 streams. And then when he finally beat it, he was like crying and stuff because it took him it took him a long
Eleven
time,
thousand streams.
a long time,
Yeah.
like a lot of reattempts.
Well, he finally mastered it. I applaud him because he didn't give up and he did it.
And he didn't get addicted.
Wow, I don't know about that. It sounds like he got addicted. He's probably looking for the next
He,
Geometry Dash
I
after
wonder
that.
if he was thinking like, or he just did it for a stream and stuff.
He did it for the streams.
Like he probably liked it, but he did it more for the stream than himself.
Stream is life, literally, for that guy. And he's
Yeah.
probably looking for the next thing to do. But they say that it takes 10,000 hours to master anything. Like anything that you want to master, it takes 10,000 hours of work.
Well, he did it.
Yeah, 11,000 streams. I would say more he put in more than his 10,000 hours. And no
Mm.
shade on anybody who wants to stream, but it seems like you could have mastered maybe something a little bit cooler than Geometry Dash. But hey,
His fans liked it.
yeah, he made it, and we're talking about him right now. So big up.
We made it, boy. But yeah, I don't remember exactly when it happened. I don't know if it happened recently or like 5 years ago. But
Mhm.
I don't remember. But yeah, it was pretty crazy when I heard about it. Like over so many streams and things. And like in the scene where he was like when he finished it, finally finished it, he was like this.
Mm,
So very excited.
yeah, I wonder if part of his tears were also just finally completing it and knowing that
He
not
doesn't gotta do it anymore.
he doesn't have to do it anymore, but then also missing the game. I bet he woke up the next day not knowing what to stream because he already accomplished it, and that was all. He's like, "What do I do now?"
There's like 5 Geometry Dash games. I think there's like a world where you go around the world completing levels. Not in real life in the game. And like I think there's other Geometry Dash games.
Legend has it he's still streaming while the king is asleep. He's just playing Geometry Dash on a different computer.
Probably. No, that's a bet. That I bet you he's gonna do that eventually. If he already did this, he's definitely gonna do 400 days.
Yeah, that's
Game.
nothing.
That's
400 days.
nothing for.
That's 11,000 streams playing Geometry Dash. 400 days playing the king. He would have walked into that boardroom like, all right, hear me out. The king, he should sleep 10,000 hours.
Yep. And then if it says on the screen, you officially mastered this game.
Yeah.
You just get
Yeah.
like achievements and I don't know. It's pretty. Even though it doesn't have a lot, I still think it's an interesting game because there's still stuff to do like outside. Like you can do on any like other stuff like eat, start fires and stuff like that. Just don't light the king on fire. I don't think that's a real thing of the game.
I recently saw this game that was in the press where it's a first person shooter and it is, I think, a virtual reality game and it looks really, really realistic to the point where people are saying it looks too realistic. Have you seen ads for this game?
I don't think I have.
Well, it looks like a body cam from a soldier or something like that, where you don't know if you're looking at a body cam, real footage of somebody in a war or a video game. It's the graphics are that good.
Do you remember what it's called?
I don't remember what it's called, but you can just look up video first person shooter too realistic, and all of these people are up in arms about how realistic this game looks. I haven't
In
seen
a good
any.
way or a bad way?
Well, the people that are up in arms are just saying this is too much. Like this is too close to the real thing.
But the big video game fans are like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen any gory footage. I've just seen footage of the guy running around a building. Um, but yeah, we'll
I'll
have to
check
look
it
that
out.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's pretty crazy.
yeah,
Like, and then let's remember, like 30 years ago, it was still Mario. What he was made out of,
yeah,
like 50 pixels,
yeah.
and yeah, it went from that to that,
And they're still
and
awesome
so
games.
fast, and so fast.
Yeah, some games go back to those pixelated 2D graphics just
And
because
this
it's
Geometry
nostalgic.
Dash is a very pixel type of game, like that
Mm-hmm.
2D thing, and yeah, people still play it. People play it on the bus on my school bus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just hear the um in my seat reading Diary of the Wimpy Kid,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just hear in the background dun 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 dun, 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 of the game, the music
Yeah.
in the game is just dun 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 dun.
Hey guys, I'm trying to read over here. Could you turn down your geometry dash?
Yeah, it was it's funny, and then like other kids at the other seat are huddled up or just watching over the screen like this, just watching him beat Geometry Dash.
So are you telling me you're on the bus reading a book?
I'm on the bus reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid because I'm trying to complete all of them. I mean,
That's impressive. I don't know if I ever opened a book on the school bus unless I was cramming for a test.
it's pretty loud on the school bus. I don't know how I read it, but I do. But it's not like those like books that are like too informational and talk sciencey. Like, you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, where you have to
It's
process a
more
bunch of
like a
information.
funnier book. It's bigger. It's like maybe this wide, I'd say.
Yeah. Maybe like a
It's
100 pages.
mhm. It's pretty big, but um yeah, it's good because it's not like those books that are just pure information, and this is
Mm-hmm.
more funny talk. Like
Yeah.
we've seen the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. It's basically that, just in a book form.
Are the backs of the bus still the crazy part? Because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god, it's crazy back there. Like sometimes our bus drivers, we've had substitutes the past couple of days, but our bus driver first one, he's cool. But the back, he's like, back, settle down, please. And it's like, and they're like, okay. But then they just keep talking, they yelling and stuff. I don't know what goes on, but I mean, I'm back there most of the time because everybody takes the front. They don't want to be in that chaotic mess. I take the back. It's not horrible, but it's still pretty
you
loud and
just want to
stuff.
challenge yourself while you're reading.
I guess you could say that. And I mean, I don't really care where I sit either. I don't mind the
Uh-huh.
back, front, middle. But yeah, we used to have assigned seats before the back got too crazy. They had to move them to the front. So then now they're in the front, and now there's like no more assigned seats. So everybody just goes wherever.
Okay. Crazy kids to the back. It's still like that.
Mm.
It's kind of good to know.
Was it like that when you were around?
Oh yeah, yeah. Back of the bus was wild. Was just where everybody would go and it was chaos.
Yeah, and one of the seats is the funny part. One of the seats, back of the seat, stuff from like the entire school. It's like the school memorabilia, basically.
Mhm.
There's just a bunch of items in the corner of the bus, like a pencil, pen, erasers. It's just a bunch of random stuff. We even one kid, he lost a charm, croc charm, like one of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
he lost it like a year or two ago, and he found it in the back of the bus.
Oh, 2 years later,
Hmm.
he found his croc sharp. That would have probably made me cry like the guy who beat Geometry Dash. Like, yeah, I got found my croc charm.
I mean, he could have always bought one back, but you know, you don't want to spend money on something that's right there.
Yeah, like when you lost your Switch games.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to bring up a sore spot. Uh,
It's kind of funny when I look back on it
yeah,
now.
yeah. Good, good. I'm glad you finally got turned it around. Imagine if you found it on the back of the bus.
Just like, oh my god, it's the Switch case.
Did you see the video of the seventh grader that was on the bus, and the bus driver had some kind of medical episode? Um, Started kind of like completely passed out, and stopped driving the bus, and it was still going. and it was about to veer into traffic, and the seventh grader runs up to the front, calmly puts his foot on the brake, slows the bus down slowly, and then steers the bus back into the lane and tells people to call 911, call 911. This kid was this was last week, and
Well,
he
where
was
did
seen
it
as a hero.
happen? Where did it
I
happen?
think it was Kansas or something in the Midwest. I don't remember exactly where it happened.
Maybe it
Um,
happened around here.
yeah,
Maybe.
it was this kid who apparently his dad had been teaching him how to drive since he was a kid. He would drive on gravel roads and dirt roads with him. So it what was
He
yeah,
got he was used to most driving vehicles. Well, not used to it, but he knew the basics of it. So
yeah.
he was like probably the most confident one to go up there and run up, start steering the bus.
Yeah, not only was he confident, what really surprised me was how calm he was. He stayed so calm, he knew exactly what to do, and then he turned around and just said, "Somebody call 911." What with his foot still on the brake because I don't think he could figure out how to put it in park. But yeah, it was very amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy because like even though like kids not allowed, that's one of the situations where a kid's gonna have to take like part into doing something. Did he
Yeah.
ever get arrested, or was he like not like the cops didn't do anything because he like saved
Oh,
everybody?
they gave him an award, and
Oh.
yeah, they basically gave him the key to the city. Like you did exactly what needed to be done at that time. So yeah, the no getting arrested for the seventh grade hero,
Mm,
which is good.
yeah, that's good. Another bus clip I saw is the bus driver wouldn't take him to a spot, but the kid kept yelling, like the kid, I'm think he kept saying like take me to the spot, but he wouldn't take him to the spot. So kids helped him open the window. He jumped out. They threw his backpack out and he started running towards his house.
So he just wanted to be closer to home. He didn't want to have to walk from the bus stop to his house.
I guess
He's just
like the bus driver wouldn't take him to a spot. So the kid literally opened the window. His friends helped him get him out. He jumped out, landed it, I think. And then kids were yelling, "Get him his backpack." And then the entire it was the back of the bus too.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
always
And
is.
then the kids were recording, they're like cursing so oh,
Yeah.
and then they were throwing, and then they threw his backpack out. He got it, and then he just started running towards home. And then kid was like, he literally jumped out the bus.
I wonder if that bus driver was fired or if
Or
the
wonder
kid
the
got
kid got
detention.
suspended or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. You can't jump off the bus. That's so dangerous.
Imagine having to explain that to your parents. Mom, I had to jump out the bus window because the bus driver wouldn't take me to my spot.
The parents are like, "How'd you scrape your knee?" Well, I jumped off the bus.
James Bond. That's
Yeah, that's Mission Impossible after school.
yeah,
Cool. All right, well,
yeah,
that's time.
yeah.